Alright, for the first book review of the new year, we're going to be talking about WHAM Comics Issue 1. Now, WHAM Comics was published by Centaur Comics. I'm going to have two videos later on talking about the two cover characters of Issue 1 and 2. So we're going to go deep about Craig Carter and his magic ring, and later on Blue Fire, but we'll worry about that later. This was published in 1940. The first stories, of course, are main character Craig Carter, and this is his origin story of how he gets this magical ring that lets him control the gods from different Parthenons. Though he mainly tends to favor the Greek and Roman Parthenon, though he does mention Thor. Zeus seems to be a particular favorite of his. In this particular first story, we're not going to go too far into it, but he summons both Zeus and Mercury, and the winged Pegasus, which is not a god, but he gets that from Zeus, so it's kind of a loophole type thing. Like I said, we're not going to go too in depth into the story, because we'll go more in depth into that when we discuss him later on. Now, the Sparkler is an interesting character. Red Morgan, the Sparkler, when dressed in his suit of material, makes him invisible to everyone else. So he has a special suit that makes him invisible. He's going to this town and basically discovers it's in the middle of a mob war, and no one's going to do anything about it. So he decides he's going to gather information and using the suit and break up the mob war himself. So essentially, it's like a crime-fighting version of the Invisible Man. Though in his case, even having a reporter that helps him. In his case, it's more technological and not chemical. Then we have Copper Slug, who is a police officer who tends to think more with his fists than his brain sometimes, but it does show that he is a capable detective, as he is able to solve a case through various reasons. Ends up saving the day by figuring out various things. Then we have the two Western stories in this one. This is a big Western issue. We have the Phantom Rider, a Lone Ranger knockoff. When a man gets framed for a crime he didn't commit, thanks to Red Morgan, it's up to the Phantom Rider to prove that the other guy is innocent by doing ballistics. So I don't know if this is supposed to be set in the Old West or modern times. Then we have Mystery of the Circle X. So in this one we have an ex-Hollywood actor who is a real Texan. He wants to go back to Texas and leave the movies behind, and ends up on this haunted ranch, only to find out that there are people tricking him, so he'll go back to the movies and be an actor again. Well, he gets mad and basically chases after them and sets up a fake thing so he can chase after them with the people who tricked him with a real shotgun. It's a weird tech story. Then we have the Speed Silvers. So this is an adventure that happens on a train, about this train being robbed, and these two characters who have to stop the train robbery, but one is mad because the other guy does all the heroic stuff and he doesn't get to do anything. Then we have John Lilton, who's this space flyer, a space adventure from the 2000 AD, ironically, and then it goes back to 1940, which would have that been at the present time New York. So it's a time travel story, and they get put in jail and all this stuff. And I'm not sure a lot of these characters return in issue 2. I'm currently reading issue 2, so I'll let you know. That's why I'm only looking at the cover stars. And we have Famous Animals, which is Toga, who's a sled dog. And then we have Speed Centaur and his friend Real. So we got a cameraman and a centaur. Find this guy who thinks he's a king, but then later on we find out that he's this long lost adventure with his party. When they knock him out, he regains his true identity. But yeah, we don't ever find out why a Centaur is living in medieval time, or living in modern time, why he's the only one left. And then we have Detecto and his Wonder Beam, essentially a 1940s version of Knight Rider. Though in this case, Michael Knight actually built and designed the thing that he puts in the car and stops the bad guys. So overall, an okay selection of comics. I'm not sure what characters come back aside from Craig Carter. So we'll find out in issue 2 when I get around to it. But overall, 4 out of 5. I'll go into more depth in the Craig Carter story when I get around to his bio. And so comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you're new. And at some point, I'll do a flip through of the full comics so you guys can check it out for yourself. And that was my review of WHAM Comics #1 from Centaur Publications. Comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon if you're new. And stay tuned for more Golden Age comics reviews here on this channel. Later days, keep your feet on the ground and your nose in a book, and we'll see you later.